What up, y'all? It's Shannon. Got Doug across from me.
We got to let these people talk.
Yeah, they paid their good money.
$100 a year, but we still got you covered. And now, smacking off college football wrap-up with your host, Shannon Madden.
All right, action.
I keep forgetting that we have sponsors that sponsor the show and do their thing. But welcome back to Smacking Off the Podcast. I'm your host, Shannon Madden. I'm joined with Doug Phillips, my co-host and producer. What's up, Doug? Did you watch some football yesterday?
I did.
Man, there was some great football yesterday. What are you talking about? Beautiful day for some. And then there were others that, it wasn't that happy. Wasn't that happy for them.
What do you want to talk about first? You just tell me. And
the winners or the losers. What do you want to do?
You want to do that first?
I mean, yeah, we can do that. Let's do that. Let's do that first, because we've there were some huge, massive, big winners yesterday. There were also some huge, massive losers. The first one that we want to talk about, of course, is Mac Brown with North Carolina Tar Heels, who kind of embarrassed themselves the other day. They were actually a dark horse in the ACC, and wound up choking on a donkey dick. I mean, that's the best way to put it. Pac-12. I will say this: Cal crept into the top 25 over winning over, I think, is a much improved Ole Miss team, but still is the bottom tier of the SEC. I mean, we can agree on that, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So so good for Cal, but Pac as a whole looked like absolute garbage. They're, I think, that's it. Cal's the last one that's undefeated.
So let's just go ahead and.
In the whole entire conference, they're the last ones that are undefeated.
Three of the four undefeated Pac-12 teams went down this weekend.
Yeah, that's it.
So.
That's it. Cal's the last one left, and from what I saw against like I said, a bottom tier SEC school like Ole Miss, they were lucky to walk out of there with a win. In fact, the folks down in Oxford, they kind of think that they were cheated out of that touchdown at the very end of the game, and are actually taking it before the NCAA, from what I've heard. Now, we know through history that teams that usually do that are unsuccessful, regardless of whether they're right or not. I mean, let's be honest about it. If you go back and watch that replay, Ole Miss got a touchdown at the very end of the game. However, they still would have been down 2 points. There is no guarantee that they would have gotten a 2-point conversion, because they definitely wouldn't have kicked a field goal in that position. They would have had to go for 2 in order to keep the game alive.
I think we need to talk about the Power 6 a little bit.
Yeah, the Power 6 is done. It's over with. It is cooked. UCF went in and spread their ass cheeks for Pitt.
Played a terrible Power 5 team.
Terrible Pitt team.
Yeah, they're not terrible. I mean, but they're not quality.
No,
I mean, you're not going to. I mean, you're booking 2 Power 5 teams for your whole fucking schedule.
Which is good news for the ACC, because they probably got that one upset that they're good for every year out of their system. But then again, I don't know that it's necessarily an upset. Whatever. UCF has definitely done what they could to further this Power 6 narrative, and they're done. Power 6 is over with. Congratulations, y'all. All right. Old Booger. At $7.5 million a season, Jim Harbaugh is currently the third highest paid coach in college football.
Yep.
That is a lot of fucking
average
money.
As fuck. I mean, we're talking about a top 40 coach, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this guy is 8 to 10 wins.
Wisconsin drugged them all up and down the field.
At a place that a great coach would probably be in the mix every year.
And that final score is not even indicative of how lopsided that game was. That game was all Wisconsin all day long. So I mean, I don't know. I know Michigan fans are fed up. I know the rest of the nation has been laughing at Michigan fans. I don't know. Is this going to be the curtain call for Harbaugh, or are they just going to have to ride it out one more year? How many years are left on his contract?
I don't know. I really don't.
While we're talking about that, I'm gonna look that up because that is just and I'm sure there's probably a couple people screaming at the speakers right now. It's X amount of years, but hang on, I'll check it out. But at the same time, that something's gonna have to be done. Michigan is they're perennial also ran and have been for quite some time.
Yep.
So in order to be taken seriously in this day and age, you gotta bring it home. Gus Malzahn, who is on the hot seat, he apparently gets it because Auburn had a huge win yesterday over Texas A&M at College Station. That was something he desperately needed this season with the buzzards already swirling down and around Jordan Hare. Yeah, you want to talk about this one, UCLA versus Washington State. And the reason I brought up UCLA over Washington State first is because they won the game, much to everybody's surprise. 32 points in the second half they were down. And you got it done. Leach, I didn't get a chance to see because, that was a very late game. I didn't get a chance to see the post-game interview, but I'm sure it was entertaining. Had to have been.
Yeah, it did.
I mean, Leach. That guy's hilarious. That's really about the coolest thing the Pack's got going for him right now. Is Mike Leach,
true, because the only top 10 Pack team.
There were, and this was the team that I'm still trying to figure out why we're on a few national pundits top 10 list, or at least teams that they believed were going to make the playoffs. We actually had a couple local announcers here, but that Cole Kubelik on his show, they one of them had picked Utah to actually go to the playoffs. That ain't happening now. USC, they came in and did what USC is used to do on a regular basis. I don't know. This is again, Pack's garbage. You're just going to continue to see. The conference continue to eviscerate itself.
Speaking of garbage, and we were just talking about Mr. Harbaugh, but I watched a few minutes of this game. It was painful to watch when Michigan had the ball. Because, if I'm not mistaken, did Michigan score their points late? Let me see here.
Yeah, they scored. They
let's see. Yeah.
They scored them 1 points there in the third quarter. And got 6 at the end. Yeah,
okay,
8 and 6.
Yeah, so I mean, Wisconsin probably was playing everybody by then.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't know where the tipping point is for Michigan at this point. I really don't. Let's here we go. All you have to do is type in the part of the word Harbaugh. And one of the main searches that comes up is Harbaugh contract. I'm sure this has been Googled quite a bit.
He was supposed to be making $9 million by now, but I don't think they're doing that. I think they had it set up to where
this came out of a tagline for an article out of the Spun. If Michigan fires Jim Harbaugh at the end of the 2019 season, he is owed a buyout of $15 million.
It's better than Auburn.
I don't know. I mean, is there as much money up in Michigan as there used to be? And I only say that because I know the auto industry up there, which it pretty much
I think UM they've got potential to get that money up. I mean, it's not really a problem, but
I know that the local area is mainly comprised of the remnants of the auto industry that's still up there, and the American auto industries and the American automakers have taken a hit as of late. So I'm wondering.
I mean, they had enough money to give them the contract to begin with.
And look, when we're talking about the people that we're talking about, $15 million isn't a whole lot, but for Michigan and we talked about this a lot with Gus Malzahn, for Michigan to actually have that or want to have that kind of caliber of coach come in, which Jim Harbaugh came in. I don't know. I mean, you look at his resume, and motherfucker won a Super Bowl. I mean, what do you want to do?
No, he didn't win it, did he?
No, well, I mean, he played for it, but still. Yeah. But that's what I'm saying, though. You have somebody who's reached the upper echelon of the very top of that you can go in American football. So, yeah, that's a guy that's going to come and bring some hardware. Who's going to bring a little bit of swagger to the program. And at first, it looked like that was going to happen. And I don't know, as this has played out, he's just not – he's not the guy for the college game that
No.
Michigan needs. And I'm not saying that Jim Harbaugh's a bad
For the
coach
money
by
they're
any stretch
spending,
of the
they
imagination.
could be doing a lot better.
You know, maybe Harbaugh's a better fit somewhere else, or maybe he's just not cut out to be that top tier that Nick Saban, Dabo Swinney.
He's not. He's not.
I would say Jimbo Fisher, but we're going to get to him here in a minute.
He's not. They were convinced that he was, but they're not. Did you watch this game?
Yeah, actually I did. Watched that one pretty well cover to cover. Georgia over Notre Dame win a very epic.
I really
epic
don't
battle.
know why Georgia didn't blow them out because Notre Dame couldn't run. They got to where they couldn't stop the run very well. I don't know why this game ended up close. I really don't.
Well, I mean, you know, Notre Dame definitely has some talent, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. They were able to contain UGA pretty well for what UGA is capable of doing. DeAndre Swift, although he didn't quite rush for 100 yards, he still provided some just amazing plays throughout the game. I mean, it was mainly a defensive battle, which was a little surprising. But I don't know. I don't think anybody really expected it was going to be a huge blowout one way or the other. But man, I mean, it was a great game. It was a really, really good game. Both teams played with a fair amount of class. There weren't a huge amount of penalties in the game. That was one of the things that tickled me about. Oh God, which one was I watching where it was just back and forth with the penalties at the end of the game? Was that shit? I'm going to think about it in a minute.
Let's go ahead and talk about Auburn. I don't have a graphic for Auburn.
I'm sleepy.
Fuck Auburn. Here's your graphic, Auburn.
Yeah, I'm giving you your graphic right now on my pants. Auburn. That was a big win. That was a must win for Gus. Absolute must win for Gus. Will it salvage, even if they go ahead and just about completely win out, lose to Alabama, but somehow, some way, make it into a great top-tier bowl game? Is that going to be enough for Auburn to say, all right, Gus, you got one more year? I mean, he does have a little bit left on his contract.
I guess it depends on whether they beat Georgia and Alabama.
But, I mean, hell,
LSU too, I guess.
The Auburn faithful pretty much had Gus fired at the beginning of the season. If he doesn't do X amount of, whatever, if he's not winning at least 10 games, then he's out of here. And lo and behold, here he is hanging around in the top 10 doing what top 10 teams do, and that's winning games.
Mm-hmm.
Go figure. I don't know.
All right, so that's not Maryland's. That's Miami of Ohio.
Yeah, I got some real. I got an issue with this.
That's 76
Ohio
to 5.
State.
I think it's the score, 76 to 5.
76 to 5. Well, that's a weird score, but
if
it's
it was
not
76 to 7. You'd been fine with it.
No, it's the fact that it's 76. I mean, what was it really necessary for OSU? And you mean to tell me that y'all really took your foot off the gas against fucking Miami of Ohio?
They did. They scored 42 in the second quarter.
Yeah, I mean,
And
but at the same time, though, they could have just, easily just ran the ball or, after a while, just, run a couple of yards and sit down for a minute. You know what I'm saying? I mean, something. Don't put any added stress on your players. And I know you're trying to unload the drawer and make sure all the guys get their playing time. I get that part of it, but I don't know. It really seems suspect because on this very same day, OSU went into this little piddly-ass game knowing that right down the street, Wisconsin and Michigan was going to be happening. And all of the national attention focused towards the Big Ten was going to be on that game.
On Michigan getting ready.
Yeah, so, I mean, it really seems like, and this was something that we saw Maryland do early in the season, too, against some little piddly-ass team. It's a really pick-me-ass move, and I'm just going to leave it at that. OSU is doing great. I get it. I understand it's we're trying to get in front of the cameras and show people that OSU is still hanging around. We're still a national a caliber playoff program, whatever. It just seems like a really pick me ass move. I'm just saying.
Yep. Tennessee's coming right along.
Yeah, Tennessee is still in the toilet. for in case anybody had gotten any illusions that Tennessee, for some reason or another, wasn't. They did not show up at all.
Isn't this a sweet picture, though? I mean, look at the love in their eyes.
There's a lot of love there. You can tell easily by Phil Fulmer's look at Jeremy Pruitt that he's going to fuck him.
He's going to fuck him once he fires him and then names himself coach.
I don't think that's going to happen. I mean,
it's not going to happen because there's been too much talk about it.
Well, yeah, there is a scenario if we didn't live in the day and age we live in, particularly with Vol fans being so media savvy, Shiano. Yeah, or not so savvy, I guess you could say, because Shiano, I don't know, would Shiano put up better numbers than Pruitt right now?
I don't know.
Maybe.
Neither. Well, Shiano had head coaching experience.
He did.
Jeremy Pruitt does not.
Yeah, and again, I brought this up the last podcast or a couple podcasts ago about the fact of why would a program in the caliber that Tennessee is, I mean, essentially a blue blood program, or at least they were at one point in time, roll the dice on an untested head coach. Now, granted, he is a Saban protege, but you and I both know this, and we've seen this with McElwain and Muschamp right now in South Carolina. That just working under Nick Saban doesn't automatically equal the same type of success, or even close to the same type of success that Nick's having. Although Kirby feels good about his chances right now.
I agree.
Yeah. Speaking of which, and going back to Jimbo Fisher at Texas A&M. Yeah, he just got there, and I know he's still trying to put the program together and blah blah this, that, and the other. But I don't know, man. I don't think he's going to be hanging around there too much longer. I'm not saying he's going to get fired this season or even next season, not unless he starts really bringing some hardware home. Because I look at Texas A&M and Tennessee for their fan base and their boosters and so on and so forth, people that are involved heavily in the program and actually put the money there. These, $15 million buyouts that we're talking about, that's where that money comes from.
Yep.
Most of the time.
Yep.
But, it's really, I don't know. I kind of view them in the same place, wanting that history back. They tasted greatness at one point in time. Both of those programs were dominant programs at one point in time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like a drug, when they want some more of that drug, and they'll do anything to get that back.
Did you hear about Jalen Hurts referring to something over on social media over there as rat poison?
Yeah, I heard a little bit about that. Yeah, I mean, that is the effect that Nick Saban has on the people around him. He coined some phrases, man. He's a goat.
Yep. How about Clemson handling Charlotte?
Yeah, whatever. But why? I don't even see why we need to talk about any of these three games.
Well, there's
right
just
here.
top 10 teams.
I mean,
Alabama handled USM like we expected.
Mm-hmm.
LSU, they handled Vanderbilt. It was never really close, but they did give up 38 points.
Yeah, and that is 38 points to a really rotten Vanderbilt squad.
I mean, we're not talking about I've heard comparisons. Well,
Vanderbilt's strength actually this season has been on defense, if you can even call that a strength with as untalented
have
as their
not
players
looked good on
are.
offense. I mean, this team is not going to beat South Carolina. I can tell you.
No, but it has not. But let's go back to that. Has not looked good at any point in time on offense whatsoever. And here they come out against top 10 team LSU, old Ed's boys, and score 38 points. That's not going to work, guys. I mean, it'll work through, the weaker part of your gauntlet, but you start facing teams with an actual defense, and that's going to hurt you. That's really going to hurt you. So, I don't know. They LSU fans feel pretty good about their chances against Alabama. We'll see. We'll see. That's all I got to say about that.
Well, I had Tua stats, but they're not pulling up when I pull up.
Yeah, there's no need for that. He tied his record for touchdowns thrown in a game, so That's,
so here's a stat I really want to look at and talk about is Henry Ruggs. God damn, that fucking guy! Every time I think that I've got a finger on how fast this guy is, I see something that blows that out of the water. I mean, I'm not sure we've seen him accelerate yet. I mean, nobody catches. I mean, if he gets a step on anybody, he's completely gone.
Is that right? Am I only seeing 4 receptions?
4 receptions.
For 148 yards.
Yep.
And one of those just happened to be for 74 yards, 3/4 of the length of the
Two of them
football
for
field.
touchdowns, 148 yards. Yep.
Yeah. And everybody's been talking about Jerry Jeudy, and defenses have definitely been focusing on Jerry Jeudy. And Jerry Jeudy has had a quiet season. He's picked up a couple key touchdowns, but I can't really call anything a key touchdown
Ruggs
in these
looks
first
more
few
lethal
games.
than any receiver I've seen.
Yeah.
And he only plays defense a little bit too.
Yeah, and that's really tough for people to defend against 2 really just amazing receivers like that.
Trevor Lawrence, he's making a comeback.
Yeah.
He had 2 touchdown passes, 7 of 9. He had a great QBR, 94 yards. He didn't break the century mark. I think they had him benched by middle of the second quarter.
Yeah.
So.
But again, there's no and that look. I think that's a smart move. Dabo's a great coach. Try to save your quarterback for when you absolutely really need him, and you don't need him like against a team like Charlotte. So all right, yeah, moving right along. What else we got? What else you want to talk about?
Justin Fields for a second. Justin Fields. I mean, he's putting up 2. There's like 4 or 5 2s out there right now.
Maybe
that are putting up those kind of numbers. Trevor Lawrence is not one of them.
No. Well, Fields really isn't either. I mean, those are decent numbers.
You changed your mind? First week you were really high on Fields.
No, that was me teasing a little bit.
Gotcha.
I didn't really give a fuck about Fields.
I got you.
Yeah. No, I actually the running back for Clemson, Etienne, or I always fuck his name up, Etienne or whatever his name is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that kid. I like that kid a lot. But with the quarterback play that I've seen over these past couple games, I don't know. I'm still thinking it's going to be a quarterback that wins the Heisman this year, and I think he might be coming from the same school that fielded the last 2 Heisman winners.
Did you see this new AP top 25?
I did. LSU's 11, right?
No. LSU's
I played a little prank on Shannon Russell a little earlier.
Did she catch on to it quick, or was she?
Yeah, no, she got it. I knew she would. It's just, me poking fun. Me poking fun with the kids,
UCF did not fall out of the top 25.
But the SEC has 3 teams in the top 4 right now. Now, again, this is very early in the season, and those teams will eventually have to.
Still got 5 in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what else we got here. Well, Mississippi State's gone. Texas A&M still hanging around in the top 25. So that's it. That's all that we've got left. When you get out of the top 10 is Texas A&M at this point.
Yeah, and they're sliding quick. They've already have 2 losses. They're the only, if I remember correctly, they're the only 2-loss team in the top 25 right now.
USC, their quarterback Fink. Did you watch him any on that?
No, I did not.
Looked really good. Third-string quarterback come in and handed Utah their ass.
So this is Fink's fault.
It is.
All right.
So Utah, they dropped down to 19th from 10th.
Ooh, wow.
Washington's kind of hanging around. Cut the N off, so it's Washington right there. Yeah,
Washington.
I like it. Boise. Where the fuck is SMU?
That's a good question. SMU is now 4-0. They beat TCU yesterday in a very surprising for a lot of folks, but at the same time, they are 4-0. So I don't know. Is that this one of those weird years where SMU kind of hangs around a little bit? But for right now, as far as it stands, I'm only seeing one Group of 5 school, and that's Boise State. No, excuse me. Well, UCF's still hanging around.
I have a feeling that the Trojans of USC.
Now, why UCF is hanging around, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Why didn't UCF just go ahead and drop out of the
I guess
top
for the same
25
reason that
altogether?
Penn State hung around after almost losing to Pitt.
Yeah, but Penn State almost lost to Pitt. They didn't lose to Pitt, and that was an in-state
But
rivalry
I
if you
believe
want to get down to it.
that was in Happy Valley, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, shit happens, all right?
But
but they still won the game. That's my point. UCF did not win the game. UCF doesn't really have, I don't know, do they have any quality wins that Stanford.
Stanford sucks, but
Yeah, Stanford sucks balls.
Stanford USC beat Stanford. So anyway, USC they're in the top 25, which I find interesting. They're not the highest ranked Pac team, but they're fixing to play Washington. If they beat Washington, I'm going to tell you right now, I believe USC is going to win the conference, but they're not going to the.
Yeah, that's. I mean, it's still. I mean.
Yeah, Herm's fucking Devils lost.
Yeah, I don't know. We had that game in our pick'ems, and I was rather proud of that one because I really, for some strange reason, told me to pick Colorado in that one because Arizona State would probably drop that game for some reason or another, and sure enough, they damn sure did. It was a very tight contest, 34-31, but Colorado walked away.
Man,
with a
you
win
know
on
what?
that
I
one.
meant to run on the podcast tonight.
What that is?
Justin Pike's shout out to Landon Beeman earlier.
He's upset with.
Oh,
Landon
that
right
was
now.
a good. That was man. Those
I don't.
Are
Are they even Facebook friends anymore?
Aren't they the same person?
I mean, you know.
Isn't he having like a? What do you call that when you have an argument with yourself?
Like the very end of Fight Club.
Something like that.
Yeah, where Brad Pitt is not really Brad Pitt. He's just like some figment of his imagination, and he throws himself down.
Justin, if you're listening, we do know. Everybody knows that Landon Beeman and Justin Pike are the same fucking person. Everybody knows that shit.
Yeah.
When we've had y'all, I say y'all in quotes. When we've had y'all on the podcast, we brought a buddy in from down the road to do Landon Beeman's voice.
No, we didn't bring a buddy down. It's David LaRue. David LaRue is Landon Beeman. # fake profile.
He is when he talks.
Yes.
But when he types, that's Justin Pike.
This whole thing is a joke that we have been helping Justin Pike perpetrate because we believe in Justin. Justin is our group president, and we can't let him down.
I don't know what's coming up this week. I believe USC and Washington. That's the game I want to focus on. If we can get guests to come in and hash that out, it's going to be hard to repeat last.
Where's Mike Gibbs?
I don't know.
What happened to Mike Gibbs?
You know, I tag him all the time and nothing.
He is definitely on one of the fake profiles in our group. Has to be.
You think so?
I think so. Mike ain't leaving this game.
All right, Mike. If
He's
you're
true to the game.
If you're listening, fuck you.
Yeah.
Motherfucker.
Fuck your Trojans.
Yeah, I guess, or Auburn, Mississippi State. Is anybody interested in that as our main segment? I don't think so.
Huh?
I'm trying to figure out a game of the week for next week. We don't have
Definitely hit Auburn, Mississippi State.
What do you think? USC, Washington?
USC, Washington, that's pretty good. I mean, it's a top 25 matchup.
True.
Who else top 25 is matching up next week?
There's not a lot.
Who's Tennessee playing? Oh, wait a minute. They're not in the top 25.
Yeah,
What am I
don't
saying?
know. But, hey, that would be a good segment just because. Tennessee, goddamn.
I mean, I don't know. I should feel bad about kicking Tennessee while they're down, but, man, it just
by the
feels
way,
so fucking good.
Notre Dame goes to Virginia. But we just featured Notre Dame last week.
Virginia looks
Like shit.
very, very awful
Yeah,
against Old Dominion.
Yeah, but they did
Against
beat,
Old
they
Dominion.
did beat Old Dominion, and that's more than Virginia Tech did last year.
This is true, but I mean that was against Old Dominion, and Virginia kind of came into the season with a little bit of swagger.
Wisconsin's playing somebody I don't know. I think Oklahoma is playing Texas Tech. That's not interesting.
No, that should be a blowout.
Ohio State, I don't remember who they're playing. LSU is playing Delta State. No, I don't know. I don't know who they're playing.
Penn State's playing Maryland.
Yeah,
we need to cover that.
You want to
game.
do that one because Kyle?
Fuck no.
Kyle wants to do it.
Why? Can I rep Maryland for that one?
You
and
can.
talk about how shitty my team is.
So it's pretty much USC Washington if we can pull that together.
BYU's playing Toledo. I mean that seems pretty good. My game of the week is going to be Kansas TCU. If
We're definitely gonna talk about
Kansas, man, if Kansas pulls a win out in that one, I swear to God,
Oh, wait, now.
I'm running naked
If I'm
down
not
the street.
mistaken, does Clemson go to North Carolina? I mean, they're going to win. So is it really anything to talk about?
I mean,
you never know.
it could be.
You never know.
They're
because-
going to North Carolina, and that's still a dangerous North Carolina team.
Well, we'll talk.
But I haven't seen anything from Clemson that shows me that Clemson's not going to go in there and walk straight out.
Well, Tiki's
like they
doing his
always do.
picks. We'll just tell him to hang around, and he can do the. We get somebody to rep USC, and we're set.
Yeah, I mean that's really the only. Alabama's playing Ole Miss.
Should we just do?
Texas A&M's playing Arkansas.
Should we just pull the Shannon Russell and Dane Kelly?
These games look like dog shit next week.
Should we just do Shannon Russell and Dane Kelly as the main segment, talking about the Heisman?
I'm probably just going to boycott college football next weekend.
We'll do a political show next week.
I'm really upset by this.
We'll talk about these
why is
goddamn
Game
tariffs.
5 such horseshit? Or why is Week 5 such horseshit in college football this year?
Yep.
I'm going to start a GoFundMe, too, because I need some extra cash.
All right.
So Notre Dame, Virginia, and USC Washington are the only two top 25 contests that I see next week.
So I'm gonna lean real hard to try to get Washington, USC as our main segment. But if not, we'll go with fucking Dane Kelly and Shannon Russell, and they can talk about
Ohio State's playing Nebraska. I remember when that used to be a really big game back in the day, but not so much these days.
We could pull that segment together, but is anybody going to care?
No, of course not.
All right.
How are we doing in the Ohio market right now? Have you checked our Ohio numbers?
We've got like 6 listeners up in there that listen like once a month. So
I have been, I lived in Cuyahoga Falls before we moved down to Alabama. Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio, which is right outside of Akron. And I've been Googling Cuyahoga Falls. Man, that town's really run down now.
Is it?
Yeah.
Ever since you left, it's been
it's
all downhill?
Really, it's been all downhill.
Is there anything else that we can say? I don't think there is.
I don't think there is. I think we said too much as it is.